Okay, here we are, wintertime fishing, secret bait. That's right, the bait. There's a bait here I'm holding in my hand that not many people are fishing in the wintertime. There's a few people that kind of gotten onto this deal, but I'm gonna kind of let you in to the secret, and then we'll talk about how to fish it, where to fish it, all that kind of stuff. And this is a forward-facing or not forward-facing situation. So here we go. This is the spy bait. That's right. The spy bait is one of those techniques from Japan that's come over, and years ago, I mean, it's been around for 10, 12 years in the United States as a prevalent technique. But a lot of people, I'm talking a lot of people, still are not fishing this bait in the wintertime. It is great almost all year. I'll throw it pretty much all year except for during the spawn. That's the exception for a lot of rules on baits. But during the fall and the wintertime is really when this thing excels. Summertime up north is fantastic. I caught a bunch of fish last summer up north when we went to Champlain and the St. Lawrence River. Great way to catch those fish. Less than 10 feet of water, real clear water, and it doesn't seem like the sun almost makes that better. Wintertime, same kind of deal. Sun seems to make the bait a little bit better, but you can see this is a Spro Spin John 80, but it really, you want to make sure you just have a good quality. Duo Realis is really the one that kind of put the spy bait on the map, and they make a really good one. What you're looking for in one of these baits is that when you slowly reel it, you want that bait to have that side-to-side wobbling action. That is a big draw, in my opinion, for smallmouth and largemouth. In Japan, they say that the more subtle the wobbling action, the more that's for largemouth. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I like, and the other part is you see the bait has props, has the little props on the front and back. It is not a topwater bait. It is a bait that sinks down through the water, probably not quite a foot a second, I would say, somewhere in that range. And the props really just slow the bait down. So when you're reeling it real slow and you want to get that bait to start wobbling, then those props give that resistance to slow that bait down so that it'll do that wobbling action. That's really what the blades are for. But in my opinion, the blades are also a draw for that slight vibration that they give off, because in really clear water, I have seen it happen to where, I'll get you a little brighter when you can see it easier, but the bait will come through the water and the fish will get nose right up behind it, and they'll sit there like in that little vibration, and that bait, the back of the bait actually kind of wiggles back and forth like that. It wiggles back and forth, and they'll sit right there. And then I've seen the smallmouth especially, they'll come up and they just nip that back hook, and the next thing you know, you got them. I mean, you got that one back hook right in the top of the lip. They're done. As long as you have the right setup, they're pretty much done. But this, speaking of the setup, you want to make sure you have a medium action, no more than a medium action spinning rod, medium or medium light, at least a 7 foot. I have found that the longer the rod, the better. This is a 7.6 Cashin Icon. It's actually one I've designed for spin bait rod. And this is one that I was fishing up north. This one can be good when the water's real clear. This is herring pink. It's got that flash inside of it. Got that herring kind of top and then that pink bottom. I think the spotted bass especially like that. I mean, sure enough, the smallmouth like that color as well. But you want to have it on as light a leader as you can stand. 6 pound Sunline Sniper is what I would use as a leader. If you go much more than that, especially if you go to 8 pound, you're going to start getting a lot less of that side to side rolling action. And especially in the wintertime, that's going to be key. That having that bait being really natural is going to be key. I think light line in the wintertime is going to be important. I have about a 20 to 22 foot leader of that 6 pound sniper, and then I have that on the Sig line 12 pound. So you want a really supple line in really small diameter, supple line to be able to cast this bait a long ways. And you know, the bait's fairly heavy, light, the line is light, the rod is long. We're gonna cast this thing a long ways. And then you wanna have a high quality spinning reel with a good drag on there, because when you get those fish, you wanna be able to put some pressure on them with the rod so that you can, and you wanna make sure that you don't have the drag that's real slip, you know, real catchy. You want to have it where that drag is nice and smooth. This is a Daiwa Tatula LT, so that's what that setup is. And then as far as the colors go, I think like a Cellmate or Nasty Shad, something that's more opaque, easy for them to see, really sticks out, seems to be better in the winter time. If the water's a little bit clearer and you feel like you want to go a little more natural, this is probably my favorite wintertime natural color. That is Matte Shad. Absolutely love that color. I've caught a lot of fish in the summertime and the fall on that as well. And then as well, if you're fishing, especially if you're fishing these herring lakes, you can go with that herring pink. I mean, any of the bait fish type colors are going to be productive. But when you get into that forward facing situation, so you've got FFS, let's say you have it, might as well use it. You're going to be looking for those fish that are still relating to bait, or they could just be singles out there running around. We're going to be looking outside off of points. We're going to be looking around any type of vertical structure in the wintertime. Any place where there's access to deep water, you might find those fish, you know, cruising around in the middle of like a, you know, you have two big points. They might be cruising around anywhere in the middle, because I think what they do is they'll kind of sit out there between two big points. I mean, and these points could be 300-400 yards away. They might just be sitting out there basically wintering in the deep water. So you could look around that stuff. They're going to be probably related to the big points and probably related to any kind of standing timber that you might be able to see out there. If you can find standing timber and a big point, those are going to be key areas to be able to scan around and look for those isolated fish. Little small wolf packs, definitely more important as well. Those small little wolf packs of fish, sometimes they get competitive even in the wintertime for those. But if you don't have FFS, forward facing sonar, you don't have that, you can, I would just look for vertical type structure to fish around and points. So those big main points like I was talking about, get out there deep off of them and throw over top of them. A lot of times those fish are relating somewhere around the point, a lot of times suspended. You can still catch some of those fish around bridge pilings, around deep docks, any type of concrete structures. I've caught a ton of fish on those in the wintertime around those type of areas. So that is a little secret bait. A lot of people are not fishing that around the dam areas of lakes. That's one area I failed to mention. Depending on, you know, each lake sets up a little bit differently, but some of those lakes where those fish in the wintertime will go towards the dam areas, and that's where the gizzard shad, or that's where the bait fish will start to congregate. Those areas, man, you can just take one of these spy baits like a Spin John 80 or one of the duos and just go down that dam area and pluck off some really big ones doing that. So put that into your arsenal this winter. The secret spy bait. It's not a secret, but just a lot of people don't fish it in the winter. So it is kind of a secret. I'll fish that a little bit more in the winter and you will start catching some big bass.